Eurosculpture 1994 in Brittany. I'm Jim O'Connor. In 1994 I found myself in a field near a town called Carhaix in Brittany. I was there supporting my best friend, Tony O'Malley's sculptor. Here he is. My 13-year-old son, Senan, a budding film director, he made this film. He came along too. Tony's project was very big, very ambitious. It was a circle of wooden pillars and a portal. We nicknamed it Woodhenge. I've forgotten what the original name was for it. But it was an extraordinary thing to be involved in. It stretched over about 3 weeks. There was a lot of partying. There was a lot of fun going on in the evenings. A lot of drinking, a lot of wonderful Breton music, a lot of dancing. And that's the director there. He worked himself into a rag over this whole thing. Those are passing artists. And that was the secretarial woman, or the head of the secretarial thing. She worked terribly, terribly hard. And yeah, there was a lot of machinery, a lot of different types of materials. Obviously, this is a log to be moved into place. People worked hard shaping logs into their various projects. And in Tony's case, here he is cutting the pillars, the lengths. And this was our main reason for being there. But we, made a suggestion to the director, and we ended up doing something else in parallel. And Tony, of course, put a huge input into this.
Up to now, the sculptors that have been gathered here in Brittany, preparing their stuff, they had about 5 or 6 days to prepare the sculpture. Now this is Tony's. This is Tony's installation, we call it. It's a great circular installation, a sort of a wooden Stonehenge. In fact, we nicknamed it Woodhenge. Now we decided also to do an archaeological experiment. That's to recreate the cooking method of the Fianna. I don't think it had ever been done on the continent before, and of course we told the organisers that we were experts at this. I knew the method basically from manuscripts, and I had heard of it being done in Ireland before. But this is the first time on the continent. You dig a pit, you fill it with water, you heat stones in a very large fire, you put the stones in the water, bring the water up to boiling temperature, and then you put chunks of meat and other viands into the pit, and hopefully they're cooked. Now, in about a half an hour from this, we were expecting French TV, radio, the organisers, publicity people, and so on to arrive. We had never done this before. We'd slightly misled them. We'd got a lot of help, and there was a lot of work behind all this, and we were just waiting to see what was going to happen. Would the water boil? Would our sugons, as you'll see in a minute, we wrapped the meat. The last minute we decided that it should be wrapped, and we did these sugons and prepared the meat and wrapped them in that, and then dropped them into the water. So would the meat be cooked properly and all ready for the cameras in roughly half an hour, 3/4 of an hour's time? We decided that the meat should be wrapped in sugons of new hay. Senan and I went out very early in the morning, and we robbed this hay from a very large bale, stuffed it in a few sacks. It didn't take us very long, actually, to remember how to do it properly. And you can see from this package of parcels meat here, nice and tight, and it wasn't even tied with string. We just developed as we went along, and it was absolutely excellent. And when it was dropped into the boiling water, the sugon, the grass rope, actually tightened. It got firmer. They floated at first, but then when they got soggy, they sank. And of course, this is obviously better. It was cooked better that way. So, about 30 minutes later, we take out the first piece, which is a joint of venison. It's a very tender meat that doesn't really need a lot of cooking, so half an hour is very short time, but we didn't want to overcook it because it's very, very expensive meat, and the person who'd donated the meat to us, this was him handing the plate, was standing by, and we wanted it to be a good advertisement for his product. And this has been filmed by French television, apart from ours. So here we go, parting the sugon, enjoying some of the boiled hay.
Now we'll take off the whole lot, yeah?
Of course, we're trying to be super confident and showing off, you know, our culinary skills apart from our archaeological skills. But we weren't feeling all that confident. We really weren't. We didn't know what it was going to be like, really.
This is the venison, yeah?
Yeah. One with the venison.
This is the venison.
Can you just tip this off?
I'm not sure it's this one.
That's
Bit rare.
It should be rare.
Yeah, should be rare. Absolutely true. If anybody wanted to brown it,
Yeah.
so very thin pieces, huh? Tony, that's cooked.
Tony backed me up very well there.
No?
You probably heard me nervously saying, was it done, was it cooked, whatever. Does look a wee bit rare.
It's better to just... tu veux...
But here is the gourmand himself. He's going to try it. He expertly
Too long,
cuts a piece out, and
Hey, fantastic.
Pour ceux qui aiment la viande saignante, ça doit être manger saignant.
basically he's saying, for those who like it rare, it is very good, very, very good indeed.
Anybody speak?
Yeah,
Take it off.
So that's the end now of that unique 27 years old video on original VHS tape. And as I said, filmed by my son Senan, who was only 13 at the time. It was quite a technical feat for my son to digitize the material. The tape wasn't in great condition after all this time, but anyway, he managed. I have a lot of slides, medium format and 35mm slides, on that whole escapade, back in 1994. And in a little while, I'll put these up attached to this film on my YouTube channel. There's some gorgeous photographs in there.